We got 14. Just give a few seconds for folks to continue to jump into the room. All right, looks like it's leveled out. So hi all, welcome to another MCore showcase via MTech. We have got our newest member today, providing an overview of the work that they do and how they can help members in connecting patients for your clinical trials to machines. So we've got Jonathan Peterson and Kirk Martin, who will introduce themselves, and they're with Rhythmlink. Take it away, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Rick. Hey, everybody. We are Rhythmlink. We are a worldwide leader in improving patients' lives by connecting those patients to machines. So before I get started, I want to tell you a little bit story of Rhythmlink and how we started. Rhythmlink was founded in about the early 2000s, 2002 to be precise, by our CEO, Sean Reagan, and two of his co-founders. At the time, Sean was a neurodiagnostic technician working in a hospital setting. And for anyone that doesn't know what neurodiagnostics is, or intraoperative neuromonitoring, let me explain. An IOM technician basically acts like the game Operation. If we all remember back when we used to play that game, you try to pick out the wishbone from the patient, and if you accidentally touch the side of the machine, the nose would turn red. IOM and intraoperative neuromonitoring is exactly that. So Sean was a neurodiagnostic technician setting up the patients to the machines. He would take a reusable, and I'll emphasize reusable, needle electrode attached to a wire, and he would hook it up to a machine. At that point in time, the surgeon would continue with their surgery, and if they got too close to a nerve or too close to somewhere in the spine, a big blinking red light would go off, for lack of a better word. At that point in time, just like the game of Operation, Sean would step in and tell the doctor or the clinician that they needed to move away from the spine or away from the nerve so that the patient wasn't injured or wasn't paralyzed. Well, at the time, you might remember I just said they were reusable needles. Well, at the time, Sean saw that there was a pivot from reusable to disposables in the medical device market. Today, you and I could never imagine having a reusable needle in a hospital setting with all the things that we know about bloodborne pathogens and even COVID. So Sean and his business partners created an idea that they were going to move the market from reusables to disposables. At that time, they were all working their own jobs, but they wanted to get a product to market so that they could change the industry up. Just like I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing in your startup companies, Sean was there right from the get-go. He had no clue anything about the FDA or even how to manufacture a medical device, but they dove in headfirst to make it happen. So Sean went ahead and contacted the FDA to figure out how to get a product to market, how to get the 510K going. And they basically looked at him like they had no clue what they were talking about, because they were really bridging the gap between the reusable market and a disposable market, and had relatively never been done before in the needle environment for intraoperative neuromonitoring. So Sean worked tirelessly with the FDA for about 2 years or so, navigating those muddy waters, navigating the treacherous time of dealing with the FDA, what you need to do for your testing, how to get through the market. Well, they finally got their 510K. Well, a 510K is all good and dandy, but they don't have a manufacturing plant. They were all working out of their houses. They didn't even have a garage to call their own. So at that time, Sean pulled on the University of South Carolina, which is where we're located, Columbia, South Carolina. He found an expat at USC here who was living in China at the time. And he contacted them to see if they could find a manufacturer for them to work with. Because previously, Sean had talked to the state of South Carolina to see if we could do it here in the state. And there was no companies here in the state at the time that could do manufacturing for us. So he leaned on this expat that was located in China to help us find a manufacturing plant to do contract manufacturing with. Well, good thing they did, because for about 4 years, they had a contract manufacturer that was building the product. So now Sean has a 510K. We now have a product that can be manufactured, and we're ready to sell it to our customers. So they started growing and growing and growing, getting in with these hospitals, getting in with the doctors, and they had a pretty good revenue stream coming in. So much so that they all quit their day jobs and they started working for Rhythmlink full time. Well, about 4 years of contract manufacturing with that company out in China, I'm sure you guys can understand what happened next. Sean and his team had an idea that they were possibly not being the most ethical with the IP that Sean and his team had, and they found that they were actually selling it to other companies. Well, right at that time, that contract manufacturer, provided an ultimatum to Sean and Rhythmlink, saying basically, you need to buy our product from us at a high price, or else you're not going to get product. Well, this is a do or die situation for Rhythmlink, and they had to pivot, which I'm sure much like you guys have done in the past, where you're working from the ground up, you need to make a decision quickly in order to keep your business afloat. Well, immediately after they gave him that ultimatum, Sean and the rest of his co-founders took about a month and a half. They started a wholly owned foreign enterprise in China, and they had a manufacturing facility called Pine Moon, where they did all the validations and were building product in about a month and a half after getting that notice from their other contract manufacturer. And from then on, we have been manufacturing and assembling products out in China. What's nice about the product, the company that we own out there, is that we own it. All of the IP that we have stays here in South Carolina, and nothing is given to that company if it's not deemed appropriate. All the employees are employees of Rhythmlink. All the ERP systems work through Rhythmlink. So now we are a full company. We've been open for about 20 years. We just had our 20th anniversary come this July, and we are privately held still by Sean. We just recently got private equity backed in order to help us grow and develop some more products. That way, Sean and his teammates could take out some of their risk from the company and we could still grow. So here we are located in Columbia, South Carolina. There's about 70 or so employees working here. We've got a full suite of engineering, regulatory, quality, and operations that help take our products to market. We are world leaders and experts in EEG, brain health, intraoperative neuromonitoring, EMG, and most recently, over the past 5 years, custom OEM product development. So when you think about Rhythmlink, we want you to think about how we navigated those muddy waters 20 years ago, much like you guys are doing now. We want you to think of us as a strategic partner that can help you get through those difficult stages of the FDA, those difficult stages of clinical trials. We want you to think on your IP and trust that we will take care of everything that you need. We can connect your patients to your machine. We want you to focus on your AI, your software, your hardware development, and we'll take care of all of the rest. We can innovate a back of the napkin sketch all the way through large scale manufacturing and take care of all of that for you so that you don't need to think about a dime besides the products that you're developing with your IP. So my name is Jonathan Peterson. I'm the manager of strategic engineering at Rhythmlink, and I've been in product development for about 5 years doing exactly what I just described, that back of the napkin sketch all the way through the FDA. Recently, I've moved over to from the product development team to our business development team so that I can take my expertise in engineering and work with you guys to help grow your products and help take your products to market. I'm also here with my business partner who I work with every day, Kirk Martin, and I'll pass it off to you.
Thanks, JP. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning to some of you on the West Coast. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kirk Martin, Manager of Strategic Business. I've been with Rhythmlink for 7 years now, and I've been in the medical sales field for all of my career. And today I'm going to tell you about a couple needs that were brought to us at Rhythmlink and how we used our technology and our IP to fulfill those needs in a new way. Just as some examples of how we could potentially partner with you as you grow your companies moving forward. So the first product that we want to talk about today is a brain health headset. What is an EEG? An EEG is a recording of brain activity. So when you think of a standard EKG of monitoring the heart, you see all the wavy lines. That's similar to the EEG, but for the brain. And that EEG is very crucial in diagnosing epilepsy, number one, damage from head injuries, sleep disorders, strokes, brain tumors, many other things. But there are some challenges to an EEG. It needs to be in a very controlled, quiet environment. It requires a trained technician to hook a patient up. They have to prep the skin. They have to work around different hair types. It normally takes 45 minutes or longer. And that's just not conducive to getting an EEG quickly and in places that this data could really help make a decision to, transform treatment very, very fast. So what we developed was our brain health headset, and it hit these criteria that we were looking for. So an untrained person can apply this cap in 5 minutes or less in almost any environment, whether it's in the emergency room or the ICU. It could be at a rural hospital. It could potentially be in a far forward environment. It's going to be a 5-minute application that gives you proper clinical placement and true unfiltered data. This data can be run through any device and allows clinicians to decide where do we go with this patient next and how do we treat them properly. We were also able to work in MR conditional status with this product to help with patient flow when they show up in the emergency room and need to go in for further imaging. And since we already have multiple patents and IP filings with the FDA, we were able to get this FDA cleared. This product's been in use and on the market for over 2 years now, and is really making a difference in rural hospitals to get patients treated better. Here's a quick video on how this works. So as you can see, this has been slipped onto the head of the patient already. It goes on like a beanie or a cap. And all you have to do is press these buttons. There are 16 buttons here that are putting an electrode on the scalp to get a very quick reading. You can see it works on all hair types and patients. So this is one way that we were able to use our existing IP and technologies to get a product to market quickly and to improve patient care.
So like Kirk had just highlighted, we were able to get that product to market based on some of our credentials. Rhythmlink, our US facility and our China facility are both ISO 13485 certified, as well as we have FDA Class 1 and Class 2 products. We have CE mark until 2024 that we can sell over to Europe. But what we really excel in is that design for manufacturing. Like I had kind of hit on a little bit earlier, here in our Columbia facility, we have a full suite of engineers, a full suite of quality and regulatory staff members that can help assist getting a product to market. So when we were doing this brain health headset, there was not much that was out there that we could pull on. There was a few EEG headsets out there, but not a lot of them that were doing real clinical EEG reading like that one is. So our engineering and quality team spent about 3 or 4 years developing that product. We went through rapid prototyping. We created some tools in order to make it manufacturable. We even worked with our manufacturing team to make sure that we could produce it at a cost that was effective for us and our customers. So if you're ever needing anybody to help you out with that, just know Rhythmlink has that engineering team that can take that back in the napkin sketch. We can do your DHF generation so that when you file with the FDA, it's a seamless process. We can even assist in the filing of the FDA, especially if you need a 510K or something like that. More times than not, we're able to work with companies. And because we have a wide range of 510Ks as well as patents, sometimes we're able to feed that product right underneath that our 510K so that you can get to market even quicker. There's not that 6-month waiting time of the FDA to review it and then provide feedback before you can even get product. We can just do a quick note to file and get you something quickly. We can also specialize in that prototyping, like I just said, so that we can get a couple samples for you so you can do your clinical trials and then adjust your design if needed. One of the other things that we specialize in is once we're done with the product development side, we'll transfer it over to our manufacturing team and they will run the full suite of V&V planning. They'll do the IQ, OQ, PQ so that we can get it into production development. We can do all of your testing. We have the ability to do in-house accelerated aging, distribution testing. Our whole quality team can do the destructive testing to make sure that your product that you're receiving is up to the standards that you expect. A lot of times we can even do the reporting for you. So if we need to make a report saying that we justify this age that we've aged it for, we can write that for you and provide you a summary of the report so you can keep it in your DHF. And we can also submit that information to the FDA if it's required. So our markets that we're in is brain health. So think about connecting a patient to machine like you do with an EKG, and it's continuous monitoring of the heart. We're changing the environment of brain health so that it is continuous. So Kirk had said earlier that we have some MR capabilities where some of our products can go into the MR suite. We don't want to lose any of that brain data that you're getting out of an EEG. So we're able to send some of our products to the MR. And that is one of our solutions so that we can have continuous brain monitoring, continuous brain health, no matter what environment the patient's in. Earlier, when I started this, I told you that we started our company in intraoperative neuromonitoring. We've been a market leader for about 20 years doing this, doing intraoperative neuromonitoring. We've worked with various companies out there to develop specific products for their intraoperative neuromonitoring so that they can operate at the highest level. Another sector we're in is EMG. So we're able to monitor the muscles in the hands and the arms to make sure all the patients from the doctor's office all the way through that MR is covered through Rhythmlink products. And then lastly, where I think that we could help most people here is our OEM manufacturing capabilities and OEM partnership. We don't want to be that big boy out there that you just call on to get one thing done and then we pass you off to somebody else. We are a strategic partner for you. So we can take that napkin sketch or your drawing that you have, we can take it through the FDA, we can get it produced, and then we'll be that 3, 4, 10, 15-year partner with you so that we're manufacturing your product and that you are a loved individual from Rhythmlink. That's what you get from Rhythmlink. If you need to call our CEO and talk to him, we can give you his phone number and he will be glad to talk to you. That's the kind of company you're working with if you decide to talk with Rhythmlink. So I want to highlight some of our cutting edge technologies that some of our engineering team has developed. So Rhythmlink was the first company to have an MR conditional electrode that is approved for 1.5 and 3T in an MR suite. We blazed those trails. And like I said earlier, with Sean trying to navigate those muddy waters of getting a 510 cleared needle electrode, we did that with this product. There was nothing out there that we could leverage on for a predicate device. We worked with the FDA and set up that environment so that anybody going forward has an easier pathway. So if any products that you need to be going into the MR or something like that, we're the experts in MR and how to get a device that is compatible and conditional with the MR machine. Secondly, we've got our disposable press-on electrode that's located here in the center of the screen. That's what's in our brain health headset. We developed this product to be a dry style electrode so that you don't need to have any skin prep in order to receive an EEG. This can get an EEG in about 5 minutes, whereas a normal EEG setup is upwards of 45 plus minutes. And with our brain health headset, you don't even need a skilled technician to do it. I could do it, you could do it. If all you had is about 10 minutes to learn how to put it on, and then you could deploy it and get an EEG on a patient. And then lastly, this is a new product that we just released about 2 years ago, and Kirk will talk about it a little bit further, but this is our Guardian Needle electrode. We partnered with MUSC in Charleston, South Carolina, to develop a product that could be safe for the patient, but also every staff member in the operating suite. So this product is very similar to the way you would think of a needle that retracts into itself to eliminate needle sticks. This intraoperative neuromonitoring needle does that. It retracts into itself to eliminate needle sticks in the operating room or in hospitals. So we can be your development partner. We can get your device to market in record time by utilizing our expertise that we have here located in Columbia. We can do the design, the testing, the development. We can source products for you to get low cost so that your one-off product that you've never made before, those simple prototypes aren't costing you an arm and a leg because we can leverage a lot of our existing partners that we source from. We can do that production for you here in the US, and we can get you samples. We can get you your full scale manufacturing. We can go from 50 devices all the way up to 50,000 devices in a matter of a couple of weeks. And we can even take the logistics. So if you imagine when I was talking about Sean earlier, they were working out of their house. They didn't have a warehouse. They didn't have a way to ship product to their customers. Sean's wife was sitting next to boxes of product while they were shipping it to their customers. Well, we can take care of all that for you by housing your inventory in our warehouses here in Columbia. We can drop ship to your customers if needed. And all you need to worry about is getting paid whenever you get paid, because we're taking care of all of that mess and all of the hassle. So you can just sit back and think about your products that you're going to develop in the future. So I wanted to walk you guys through an example of our development that we've done. We're currently working with a partner right now who came to us in need for assistance for our brain health expertise. This company is doing some cutting edge technology to help understand a patient if they have a brain injury. So we met with this company, we talked about their design, and then we passed it off to our engineering team. They provided then 3 or 4 rounds of prototypes of a design that we thought would work best for their components. We have now rolled out about an early stage 50 to 100 sample prototypes so that they can do clinical testing. They can do their clinical trials out in the UK. And we are providing that expertise for the engineering side of it. Once they go ahead and get done with their clinical trials, if they proceed with Rhythmlink, we're going to help them out with that development. If we need to file a 510K, we're going to be alongside them assisting in that 510K and putting our expertise that we have for 20 years of EEG and brain health monitoring. And then lastly, once they start ramping up and going from those 50 units to the 50,000 units, we're going to source some components for them to get that cost down so that they can end up making a pretty good profit margin on their end. And then we've already talked with them in the future. We want to be their long-term partner. So in 5-10 years, we're still going to be that strategic guy for them, that we can ramp up their production for them. So if they're going 50 this year and then immediately going a couple million the following year, we're going to be the person that is going to help them get there, because we're willing to ramp up and we're willing to assist in order to make sure that everything you do with Rhythmlink is top notch. So I want to show you some of our components, or some of our products that we have right now. Right here on the right side of the screen is our interoperative neuromonitoring needles. This is the story I gave you earlier. This is what Sean and his team developed early 2000, and it's still a big breadwinner for us. The product in the middle is our press-on electrode. I like to call it the Ninja Star. That's exactly what's in our brain health headset, and that is a dry style electrode that you can deploy into the patient and get an accurate clinical EEG in just a matter of minutes. On the left side of the screen here are hydrogel electrodes. We convert these in-house. We buy the hydrogel in bulk and we slit it and we convert it in-house. So if you need a patch for your device, or you need a different kind of hydrogel or a custom hydrogel, our team can help develop that and then also do the converting and give you a packaged finished good medical device. So think of us for any style converting needs that you need. Additionally, we have overmolding capabilities. So the picture here on the bottom, you can see these probes. These are used in spinal surgeries for that game of operation I was telling you about earlier. We overmold these handles in-house at our facility. So if you have a custom handle or a custom product that you need to be overmolded, or say you need a custom connector because you want it to be proprietary just to your device, we can assist with that. And we can get you small scale manufacturing all the way up to that large scale manufacturing where you're doing millions of units a year. And then lastly, I want to show you some of our brain health. So here on the top left is our brain health headset that Kirk had talked about earlier. We developed that totally in-house, and we are currently selling it. We've been selling it for about 2.5 years. On the right-hand side is our template. We have sewing capabilities. So we sew this product in-house. We do screen printing on it. And this template allows a non-skilled technician to apply an EEG in a much quicker method than a standard EEG would be done, eliminating the possible need of having a skilled technician in an operating room or in a hospital suite. The very bottom is our silver chloride electrodes. These are your standard disposable EEG style electrodes. The two on the right are our web electrodes, which we have patents on. These are really good for areas that you have sensitive skin. So think about your forehead or a underaged individual. They've got a little bit sensitive skin. This great because a larger surface area, and you can still get a clinical EEG. And then lastly, the picture on the left bottom, where you see the number 3, that is our quick connect style electrode device. This allows the patient to be hooked up with an EEG, quickly disconnected and send them into the MR. And then the patient can be connected back to the device so that you're not having to remove the EEG electrodes from the scalp, eliminating that 45 minutes of window of brain health recording time. They can quickly connect to the device. So like I said earlier, we want to make brain health something that's exactly like an EKG, where you're constantly monitoring the heart. With our electrodes and our devices, you can continuously monitor your patient's brain and your patient's brain health. So now I'm going to pass it off to Kirk. He's going to talk a little bit more about our Guardian needle electrode and the case study that we did there.
Thanks, JP. I'm going to do one more product showcase with you all, and then we can open it up for questions and see if we can help you all with anything. This is a neat story because MUSC, Medical University of South Carolina, down in Charleston, South Carolina, they came to us with an idea and were asking us to partner with them to develop it. MUSC are some of the best clinicians in the country, best clinicians in the world. They had the idea, but they knew that they needed to focus their time on taking care of patients and saving lives and improving healthcare. So they handed this project off to us, and this is the Guardian needle. It's used mostly in intraoperative monitoring, which is a procedure that protects the central nervous system. It monitors the brain, spinal cord, and nerves during surgery. And the whole idea is just like the game of operation is, make sure there's no long-term injury or paralysis and improve surgical outcomes with these products. Well, the thing about these is you're introducing 24 or more sharps and needles to an OR, in an operating room. And that can lead to stick injuries in the OR. These qualified IOM technicians, it takes some time to set up a patient. They have to find the right location. They insert the subdermal needle, and they normally use a piece of tape to hold down each needle. In these procedures, it's not uncommon for an anesthesiologist or surgeon to need to flip a patient over. That's a common place for needle sticks as well. So in this environment, needle sticks are reported in less than 1% of cases, but these cases are done in the thousands all across the country and all across the world every day. And an average needle stick costs a hospital $5,000 per injury. So that all adds up significantly. MUSC had an idea. They knew the need was there. So we came up with the Guardian needle with them. This is one of our subdermal needles housed in a protective hub. So if the needle does come dislodged during the procedure, it goes right back into the plastic and protects itself. We also covered this with an adhesive bandage to help speed up the application process and also keep it on the patient longer in times when they need to move a patient during the case. Applications from head to toe, and you could even pair this with an EEG template and get a quick EEG reading in some sort of field. So here's a quick video on what that looks like. That's how the products come prior in the case. And that's all it takes to apply the electrode. You can see how it goes back in there and hides itself to reduce the opportunity for a stick injury. And when you pull these electrodes off, they come off safely to protect you and your staff. So that's just a real world example of how we were able to take a patient's or a customer's need and turn it into a product. This is available across the country. It's being used already. It's FDA cleared and ready to go. So thank you all for joining us today. When you think of Rhythmlink, think of a partner who can help you connect your patients to a machine. This will allow you to spend your time developing your AI and your software and your device, and you can worry about your clinical trials, and all the millions of things that you all are trying to do each day. And let us handle the connection piece for you with high quality products and cutting edge technology. Thank you.
Very nice. Thanks, guys. Have a question popped up? A poll question? If you just take a second to answer that. We appreciate it. And now we'd like to open the floor for any questions. You're welcome to come on camera and on mic to do so. Anyone planning a clinical trial, getting ready, considering how they're going to utilize any technology like this? We got a question for you guys. So you've got obviously a couple products in the market. You develop custom electrodes. How long does that development process take in general terms? What costs are potential clients looking at for that?
Yeah, so I'll take us through this one. So relatively speaking, since we are such a small company, we can be very nimble when it comes to your product development. So if all you have is a napkin sketch, that development process probably will take a little bit longer because you'll be working alongside our engineering team, probably for a few weeks up to a couple months to get a accurate depiction of what you want. We can get you prototypes relatively quickly. But if you have drawings already completed and you know exactly what you want, that process is fairly quick in order to get it loaded into a system so that we can get you a quick prototype and then scale up. So I think you're probably looking at anywhere from a couple weeks all the way through. We've been working with some partners for a couple of years to hone in their products because we'll give them a prototype. They'll do some clinical trials. They'll relay some more information back to us. We'll iterate on that design, and then they'll do more clinical trials. So we've done something as quick as a couple weeks as upwards of a couple months. And the costs that go into that, so we bill out our engineering costs per hour. So our team, Kirk and myself, along with our VP of engineering, when we talk about a product that we want to develop for you or assist in the development, we'll sit down and make a development plan for you. And we'll outline the amount of hours that we need. And then we'll extrapolate that fee in there. Rhythmlink doesn't really make money on that kind of development because we see ourselves as a strategic partner for you in the long run. So if your project takes 2 years to get out, we want to be the one that has the first chance to be the manufacturer for it as well. So we'll do those. And generally speaking, if we do need some prototypes for you, that'll be lumped into that fee as well. We'll say, hey, you're guaranteed to get 10 prototypes out of this and 3 or 4 iterations of that design. So we're able to make sure that you get what you want. Currently, we're working with a company developing a custom hydrogel for them for their sticky electrode. This has never been done before. They contacted us because they knew we were expert leaders in EEG and hydrogel electrodes. So this process has now been taking about 6 months to develop a custom hydrogel for them. And we think that we're getting to the point now where we got exactly what we need. So actually I'm going to ship them their next gen samples probably after this meeting, get the feedback from them. If that's what they like, then we'll move into the large scale manufacturing for them. But to answer your question, Rick, it's kind of a case by case situation, but we'll be able to provide you that development plan so that you know anticipated what your lead times are in order to get your product that you need. But because we're so small, we can be nimble and we can move you to the front of the line if you need it. Say you have a clinical trial that's happening in 2 months and you need product, well, we can move you up a little bit if we needed to in order to get you something quicker.
And just to add to that, JP, we also have plenty of products on the shelf and ready to go, FDA cleared today. So if you contact us, let us know what kind of signals you're looking to record or deliver. We might have something on the shelf ready to go that can help you test your product and test your idea without going into extreme custom development. Just while you hash it out, we can help with that as well.
Yeah, nice. That's a really good option. Yeah, Jill, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Kirk and Jonathan, first of all, thank you. Excellent presentation. Really appreciate your candor and how much detail you presented here. Can you speak to us a little bit about the intellectual property or proprietary positions as you're considering strategic alignment? Do you take co-ownership interests with other folks, or does the idea side of it stay with the other partner you pair up with?
Sure. Hey, Jill, nice to see you. Thanks for jumping on with us. We are open to all sorts of pathways when it comes to IP, and it's just a case-by-case basis. So we're happy to talk through it with you and figure out the right needs. And, again, by using some of our existing IP, we can get you to market quickly. If new things come up, we'll have a nice plan for who owns it and how to protect it, and, just how to make sure that that's in a good place to go forward.
And I'll ask very, very generically as well, if you don't mind a little, I guess it's a parallel question. You were so forthright about explaining some of the early experiences with offshore design manufacturing. Any additional notes that you'd like to share on the cybersecurity front, given that we're working in the venue of military medical? Have you got that covered? Are there other partners that you rely on to help address cybersecurity issues? Kind of an ongoing challenge for all of us, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good answer on that one because it's ever-changing environments. Sean is the most dedicated person to making sure that our information stays where it needs to be, and he's constantly evolving our cybersecurity. We have a full IT suite here that is ramping up and growing. If we need to make sure that things are kept on a server that is encrypted and everything like that, we have that capability to do it. So once again, like Kirk had said, as it's a kind of a case-by-case situation, but know that we're dedicated to maintaining our security, and we have contracts with the VA and other government entities, and we're able to satisfy all that they need. So you can trust that everything that we have will be set in place for you. And if there's something that we don't have that needs to happen, we can make sure that we get it done for you as well.
I imagine that's part of what you'd address in a strategic alliance, right? Just ensuring that you've got CMMC compliance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all. So when we form a partnership with somebody, obviously there's a lot of paperwork and other documents that need to be signed and approved. So if we need to provide you any certifications or anything on our end to make sure that all of our T's and I's are dotted, we can do that for you. And once we set up, I know a lot of times with these small businesses, they don't want to get bogged down on the paperwork. So we've got specific paperwork and specific agreements that are more geared towards the smaller business, so that they don't have to sign a massive manufacturing agreement up front, but they can still kick off a development project with Rhythmlink.
Really helpful. Thank you.
As in, you mentioned during the presentation about managing or supply chain management and helping with distribution. Can you just comment a little bit more about that? Maybe how you work with clients for that?
Sure. So, the bread and butter of our business is disposable products that go out to hospitals, all over the country and all over the world every day. And so if we don't have the inventory in stock, we're not a good partner. So, we have the proper warehouses and the supply chain set up where we try and have at least 3 months of product on the shelf ahead of time for our customers. We can do this in our contract manufacturing as well. So, we understand the game. We understand how to stay in front of it. An example is the COVID, when everybody got hit with supply chain issues. We had very few, I won't say we had none, but we had very few products going back order. And when we did, we were able to invest and bring over extra inventory before the shipping issues really happened. So we've been doing this for 20 years, and that's one of our specialties. And we do have customers out there that we drop ship to on an OEM basis. So we can ship directly to your customers, or we can send it to a central warehouse, whatever's best for your business.
I think when I was on your website, I see you have a downloadable PDF of the catalog of items. So folks, if they need to take a look and be confident that you have the products in stock that they need for what usually could be last minute issues, right? It usually happens right at the last minute. So, well, are there any other questions? I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any in the chat section. Feel free to ask. We've got a few minutes left here.
And
If
feel
not,
free to,
then Kirk and JP, I'd like to thank you for your time today. This webinar is being recorded and it'll be available on the members only website as well as a copy of the slides. Going forward, we are going to start up a large industry spotlight for our members. This is enabling our large industry members to talk about the areas of research and product development that they are focused and interests in collaborations with other MTech members. So look forward to that. Our first one's going to be July 27th with Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Their military health group is going to give an overview of the work that they do. And then in August, we'll have InterSystems give an overview of their work. And we also have Magellan Federal. And then in mid-August, we're planning to do an SBIR workshop for our members as well. Be looking for more detail on that. We're still trying to work out plans for it, but we're excited to be able to offer that for our members as well. So JP, Kirk, again, thanks very much. Appreciate your time. And thanks to all for attending.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.